Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel, and today is Sunday, so we're going to be talking about a character spotlight of a DC character. So the DC character that we are going to be talking about today is Mary Marvel. Mary Marvel is the sister of Billy Batson and has a similar powered superheroine under the name of Mary Marvel. Um, Her real name is Mary Broomfield. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about her and the potential of her possibly being in a new um, movie. So we're going to talk into her origin. So Mary and Billy's parents are archaeologists, and Mary accompanies her parents on an expedition to Egypt while Billy remains at home. Well, Mary's parents are killed by the associate Theo Adam, who then kidnaps the young girl. Upon returning to the United States, Adam's sister learns of what he's done and actually takes Mary into her care. She actually she actually has Mary illegally adopted um, by her childless employers, Nick and Nora Brumfield, sorry. As Mary Broomfield, the young girl grows up living in life in a wealthy family, but continuously dreams of another family with her brother that she's never actually seen, as she remembers. Anyway, meanwhile, Billy eventually finds himself on the street and is given the power to become Captain Marvel, which is now later called Shazam. Um, Marvel and DC did not get along, and he had to change his name and no longer went Captain Marvel. He is now Shazam. So when he learned that Mary is still alive, after 4 years of searching, neither he nor the wizard Shazam could find the girl. The only thing he could remember of her is that her favorite toy was a talkie Tawny doll, which was shipped to America with the Batsons' possessions after their murders. I couldn't even pronounce that name. I apologize. I have no idea what that is. It's just a doll. So anyway, as a young teenager, Mary enters a regional spelling bee um, and actually meets Billy. After saving Mary from kidnappers twice as Captain Marvel, Billy notices how much Mary Broomfield reminds him of Mary Batson. He has an undercover cop named Muscles. I can't even make this up. McGinnis retrieve the girl's forged adoption records. Learning that Mary is indeed his sister, Billy tries to figure out a way to let Mary know that he is his brother. Well, the old doll transforms into a full-size tiger and comes to life um, and is animated by Lord Satanus, which is the son of Shazam, and instructs Billy to take the doll to Mary as Captain Marvel. Billy flies out to the Broomfield's hometown of Fairfield to deliver the doll and the adoption papers to Mary. Arriving at the estate, Billy delivers the package but immediately kidnapped by the thugs who helped Prim forge Mary's adoption records. Mary takes the package and opens it and discovers the adoption records and the doll. Once again, the doll comes to life and instructs the bewildered girl to say the magic words, Shazam, in order to save her brother. Mary complies and is transformed by a bolt of lightning into the superpowered doppelganger of her deceased mother. She saves Billy, who transforms into Captain Marvel to help Mary out. I'm sorry, Shazam. But the two Marvels cannot save Sarah Prim, who is murdered by one of the thugs. So this is where she gets her powers. Um, she eventually, superpowered self is called Captain Marvel, like her brother. But later on, she actually goes by Mary Marvel, mostly due to the fact that they most likely had to change her name. She has the same powers and the same benefactors as her brother. In fact, they both draw from the power of the one finite percent of Shazam's power, which they can both use. Each of them is only as half as strong and half as invulnerable. After both share their power with their crippled friend Freddie Freeman, so he can become Marvel Jr., the power is split three ways when all three Marvels are active. Now, originally her costume was exactly the same as Shazam's, but is later changed to a white costume, distinguishing herself from her brother. So now that we know how she has become herself, she's also been in a part of many different groups. So she's been in part of the Super Buddies. The Super Buddies were an offshoot of the Justice League in 2023. I mean, sorry, 2003, not 2023. Um, and she actually was held by demons in hell where the Shazam powers do not work. And as ransom, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold were forced to work for Beelzeburger, a fast food joint that's from hell, quite literally. They escape only to find themselves in a world with a twisted and evil versions of themselves. Eventually, they were all saved by Dr. Fate, and she's actually teamed up with the Super Buddies again to help defeat other enemies. She was also in the New 52 series, where she appeared only at the Black Adam and Isis wedding, and later the funeral, which is awful, and fought Black Adam in World War III. In the middle, while in a mid-air battle with a fire harpy, Mary lost her powers mid-flight as an after effect of the death of the wizard Shazam, and fell from a height of 3 miles. She survived the fall, but ended up in a coma in New York City. Freddie spent all of his money to pay for her care. And she's been in the Final Crisis, where she was corrupted and turned into a vessel for one of the Darkseid's servants. She, Mary shouted, sorry, as the battle continued, Adam tried to kill her, telling Freddy that it was not Mary who was in control. And as the battle continued, Mary forced Supergirl flying through across the city, damaging the remaining buildings. Finally, Freddy managed to grab hold of Mary and shouted Shazam, transforming them both back to normal and suppressing or removing the influence from Mary. She broke down crying over what was done, and Freddy reassured her that it was not her fault. Now, Shazam one shot, desiring the power of the Marvels, Blaze strikes a deal with Mary. She will return Mary's powers, providing that she kills Freddie Freeman. Mary, still desperate for her power, agrees but discusses it with Freddie, and they double-cross Blaze, and Blaze is sent back to hell. Billy, Mary, and Freddie continue their search for their powers. They've lost their powers before. So, that's basically her mini backstory, but let's focus on her powers in general. So she's very similar to Black Adam and Shazam, but we're going to talk about them anyway. So she has divine empowerment, which she grants all the powers from the six gods and figures of legend directly through Shazam. She has an accelerated healing factor, clairvoyance, which is the ability to understand situations from other angles, including future and past consequences, with superhuman clarity and accuracy. She has divine grace, which is innate luck and divine guidance that allows her to finesse in actions and in dealings with others. She has a wonderful memory. She's resistant to magic. She has enhanced intelligence, um, heightened to superhuman levels. This also provides her with great comprehension of languages in many areas, such as language, obviously, tactics of war, and mathematics. She also has flight, a healing factor. She has the incredible amount of willpower that allows her to persevere against overwhelming odds and seemingly unbeatable situations. She's invulnerable, self-sustenant, meaning she's able to survive without food, sleep, or water while she's in this form. Super speed, super reflexes, super agility, super stamina, super strength, teleportation, the ability to access Rock of Eternity, and transformation, where she's actually able to transform back to a mortal. Now, her weaknesses are actually electricity, which can help revert her to her alter ego with enough electricity. She's intolerant. Oh, she's lactose intolerant. Sorry, and she has power limitations. So the issue with this is when there's more than one Shazam, the powers are divided up based on how many are using it at the time. So she could have all of it or a portion of it. depending on how many of them are using it at the same time, which can drastically change the issues at hand, something that she has to be wary of when she's actually dealing with this kind of stuff. So, Mary Marvel apparently has been being brought back into the comics, and we're probably going to see her in Shazam 2 if that ever comes to be. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is there a DC character you want me to talk about? Please let me know in the comments. And as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a good night.